Welcome to What's Geekin Now News. I am your host, Travis, and I am going to show you all of the things that we have found for you this week. What we do is we curate, finding all of those little bits of details that you don't have to spend hours finding. We put them up in a little bow and slide them under your Christmas tree like a present just for you. This is going to be a weekly show, and I would like to go ahead and start out with one of our first items, video games. First, we'd like to kick things off with a game called Dreams, which is by Media Molecule, a developer in the UK that also created a little game called Little Big Planet, which I'm sure we've all heard of, whether or not you've played it. They do come up with really awesome material. Now, this game has amazing graphics. Although it's not really a game, it's also a developer's toolkit, where they give you a bunch of resources of tons of assets. They have like 50 people working on this thing. However, you can also build your own toolkit to make your own video game, music, all kinds of things. It's kind of like Minecraft on crack, but in a good way and not to the point where you're addicted to it and could possibly die, because that would be bad. Dreams is truly going to be a masterpiece that I think we're all going to want to be a part of. However, it's time for us to wake up from that dream, because we have another sweet little dandy, an anime video game called One Piece World Seeker. This is going to be on Xbox One, PS4, and also PC. Now, speaking of consoles, let's go a little retro with Atari, which is exactly what we found this week, is an Atari Box. If you're an old school gamer like myself and you like your retro games, then you need this thing. Although it is a bit pricey, it's on the $250 to $300 range, but we are definitely excited about it. We'd like to know your comments about retro things like this. If you're looking into getting into something like this, if you're a younger guy, are you looking into retro games? Or are you always looking for the next new thing that's not exactly new oldish like this? So, believe it or not, retro games are definitely a thing coming back to the future. See what I did there? I did. So, 30 years later, 30th edition anniversary of Street Fighter. Yeah, you're going to hear that spamming Hadouken once again. I remember when I played Street Fighter, it was one of my favorite fighting games. I was a Ken guy. I wasn't a Ryu guy. I also liked Dawson and E Honda. Man, that 1,000 hand, that was spam of the year right there. But if you aren't 30 years and above, you may be like this 12-year-old kid who's freaking whipping butt in Magic the Gathering, because he goes by the handle Magic the Gathering Kid. Not only that, he's made his way into Hearthstone. Apparently, he's making some waves in this as well. Personally, I think it's awesome to see fellow younger gamers in that age range jumping in and being able to go toe-to-toe with us older, geekier generation. All right, hold up. Let's take a little break from video games. I would like to tell you about our news show, What's Geekin Now News. As I'm sure you can understand, this is a current gamer's paradise, if you will, where we find all things, not just video games, but board games, which is what I would like to go into next. So on Kickstarter, there is a new game called Living Planet that looks really, really interesting, where you have a planet that you are, I believe, terraforming. You can play it with between 2 to 4 players, but it has a really cool sci-fi fantasy vibe to it. It is fully funded. It's way overfunded, which means that they've already hit all of their goals. So everything that you have purchased on the side or will in the future, they're going to be able to get all of those goodies to you on the table. And speaking of tabletop, well, what other game do you enjoy playing on tabletop but role-playing games? AKA D&D, Critical Role, just came out with a really cool video explaining a different kind of variation of D&D, where they call it Dread. Am I overusing those quotations marks? I don't even care. Dread is a game where you use Jenga as a, well, they can't say Jenga, but it's kind of funny if you watch the video. It's really hilarious and really awesome the way that they're able to, instead of rolling dice, you do it by pulling a Jenga blocky and placing it on top. Now, if the whole thing falls, all of it breaks loose. Terrible. No good. Now, we don't have to only talk about D&D. There are other systems out there, in case you didn't know, and that is a system for Conan the Thief. That's right. Get to the chopper! There are no choppers! This is a fantasy world! Yeah, you didn't know Arnold lived here, did you? Yeah, he's right here at What's Geekin Now News. And sometimes he comes out, so... no warnings at all. No warnings. Just Arnold and all of his Conan glory. Now in thief form. Conan the Thief is not a new edition coming out. It is certainly a print, as it was only a PDF before. It is done by Modifius Games, by Chris Birch, a interesting friend of mine that I have spoken with before. Now, today, let's talk about today a little bit, and let's talk about another little subject that we also like to talk about here, which are geeky movies. I'm so excited. The next Star Wars coming out today. That's what we're suggesting, or definitely, you know what? If you don't go out and see Star Wars today, at least do it during this weekend or another weekend. This is a definite must-see. We get to see what happens next in the Star Wars universe, even if you're not a complete Star Wars nut, like some of us are. I mean, you gotta keep your geek cred somehow. Alright, so have you heard about the new, awesome movie called Bright? It's coming out December 22nd, 2017. Next week, so make sure to put that on your calendar. Why? Because it mishmashes kind of a fantasy meets nowadays. Think about that for a sec, and then add Will Smith into the mix. It's going to be a good time. Definitely put it on your calendar. And wait, there's more. Black Panther. Yes. Black freaking Panther. Another Marvel movie hits the theaters. That's going to be coming out soon. The visuals look amazing. And quite frankly, I think this Black Panther looks a lot better than the Black Panther in the previous Marvel films. He finally looks like he's seriously worthy of his own film. So I really hope that he is going to live up to that expectation. What do you think? Alita Battle Angel. Now, the trailer of this looks really freaking cool. It kind of looks like a mixture between like an anime meets live action-ish stuff. And there's cyborgs. It's freaking sci-fi. And it looks gorgeous. And the freaking cyborg freaks me the crap out. Anyways, it is a cyberpunk future dystopian looking movie. It looks really freaking fantastic. Slow clap for this film. We could go on and on about the awesomeness of sci-fi dystopian futures like this. Who doesn't like that kind of stuff? But what I would like to point out is another movie that's coming out, Ready Player One. If you haven't seen this trailer, it looks super interesting. It has cameos from all sorts of games, all sorts of other movies, but it looks like it's going to be a blast from the past, merging with the present in a little thing of like a bird that flies away with your heart. Moving right into anime, we have a new Pokemon movie. I know, it's kind of a kid's thing, but it is a oldie, yet kind of newy but goodie. Definitely one you can take your kids to. It has a clean looking, nice, new artistic style to it. In fact, some people say that Ash looks more mature and grown up. We can't leave out comics, which there is a new hotness That's right, in the comic world, which is a new Watchman that's coming out. It's been a while, but they are finally continuing it with Doomsday Clock #1. And Watchman's freaking cool. I mean, what about Rorschach? He's definitely my favorite. Totally. Now, Rorschach is a hero of a fantasy universe, but let's talk about the heroes of today, which Lindsey dedicated a song, Angels We Have Heard on High, to all of the first responders for Florida during the hurricanes. It's a really beautiful song. You should definitely check it out. I mean, Lindsey equals geek, and it's for people that's important to us, and that's important to me. It does become highly recommended. And I don't mean highly like deck the halls with boughs of holly, but if you want to talk deck the halls with boughs of holly, you may as well talk Pentatonics, which is kind of like Lindsey weird cousin. Yeah, but they harmonize in a beautiful way. They have a new song coming out, Deck the Halls. Highly recommended for the week. And speaking of the week, that is finito. We would like to ask you to subscribe if you have not already. And of course, send this around to your friends. Let them know about how to be a geek.
TIMORUM.